I go by the program. Soon after the GG, I'm supposed to speak, so better I take the nice. So the 160th birthday, birth celebration, birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. And on this day comes a very joyful news that VIPS becomes NAC grade A++. So I congratulate the entire team led by Dr. Anuradha Jain, who is the Dean for Strategy Compliances, and all our colleagues who have very dedicatedly and devoted their time to 7 criteria and the whole gamut of exercise that they had to undertake. Swamiji has never ever spoken weak. He never represented the weak. How many of you are strong enough to stand? When I say stand, stand on your own feet and have the strength to stand by your conviction. How many of you can you say with conviction that, yes, I'll stand by my conviction? Well, I don't find that enthusiastic response which I expect on Swamiji's birthday. So is the Swami Vivekananda's birthday. You know what Swamiji said? It is easier said than done. As he said, each one of you can be Vivekananda. But in being Vivekananda, in letter and spirit, and practice, it will take you another 100 years. I can name myself Vivekananda, next day my name will be known as Vivekananda. I can even write Swami Vivekananda. But do I really become one? Do I become a Vivekananda? Swamiji says, at my will, he says, mountains shall crumble and I can drink the whole ocean at my will. What a determination. He has never been a weakling. He has always represented strength of character, which we lay stress upon each day. We are embarked on a mission of man-making, character building, nation building. But how far has VIPS succeeded in inculcating the values that Swamiji preached? And when he says, Uttashtata Jagrata Prapavara Nibodhata, rise so we can stop not till the goal is reached. Swamiji's whole life is one to be lived and not to be talked about. Everyone comes and very routinely reads out his quotes. He is not to be quoted. He is a man to be practiced. And he walks with me every day through these corridors, and I go all around the 3 blocks, and he walks with me. And he walks with me with all the strength and vigor that a youth should represent. I have never ever recognized weakness. And that's my whole strength. Any challenge that comes, I turn it into an opportunity. I never bow down against the threat. And Swamiji preaches that you learn how to face a brute. You should have the strength of character. We are certainly not having the strength of characters to stand on our own feet, because anyone who has practiced Swamiji in his life can never be weak in any respect, in any sphere of life, in any walk of life. The very many things which Swamiji preached, but he virtually practiced those preachings which he preached to the rest of the world. He was the one to preach, let's try to blend after his visit to Chicago. He said, let's try to blend the Eastern wisdom with the Western science and to harmonize this culture and bring a whole lot of perfect men who only knows the mantras, the recitation of mantras, but he also knows the modern science, the nanotechnology, the particle physics. The man who knows the space science, but besides that, he should be deeply rooted in the motherland, its culture, its ethos. We often talk of him, but then we don't really represent him. I walk through the corridors and each time I feel he walks with me. Professor Subbarao sometimes suffers me because I start walking very fast. He doesn't know that he is walking with me. When you walk with vigor. When you talk with assertiveness. Have the strength of character. And then you will become men and women of some utility to this, of being worthy of this nation citizens, of our country's worthy sons and daughters. We must all try and rise to prove ourselves worthy of our motherland, to inculcate her culture, her ethos. Let's not forget, India has a very rich cultural heritage. Where we learn the modern science, we should not forget there's far beyond the physics. There's a whole lot of world of metaphysics. Swamiji taught both. Swamiji taught both God with form and a formless God. God without form. And he was practicing that. He established an ashram in the Himalayas, in Pitaragar district. It's called the Mayavati ashram. It's an Advaita ashram, so non-dualism. Me and God are not two entities, but we are God ourselves. So he rightly put it, each soul is potentially divine. You have to manifest the divinity within by controlling nature, external as well as internal. You may do it by work, worship, psychic control, or by philosophy, or maybe by more than one, but you have to be free from the bondages of ignorance. So let's try to free ourselves from the bondage of ignorance. In the Himalayas, when for the third or fourth time when I went with Swami Jatattvananda, he said, we are talking about Swami Vivekananda and we keep preaching about his teaching and his quotes after quotes. But nobody gives a concrete shape to what Vivekananda actually stood for. What Vivekananda stood for making man of character. Are we really shaping man and women of character? Those who can help build a strong nation? Or have you deviated from that path which Swamiji perhaps laid down for us? So in the Advaita ashram at Mayavati, which one British captain, savior, having been impressed by Swamiji's philosophy, he thought of raising a shrine. And when the whole thing was built, 1999, on the 15th December, he dies, having built a shrine. But Swamiji never ever wanted that an idol worship should be done. It has to be the formless Brahm, the divinity within, and you have to manifest the divinity within. You have to experience it. So there, it's a place where you can be in deep contemplation, meditation. And there many people have become very intuitive minds, and they have created world history, I tell you. Roman Roland was one of those who visited that place. And many world philosophers, they went there. Max Muller also went there. It is a place that keeps coming charging on you. And that's where you get the feel of the Himalayas. It's ice-laden peaks, the cellar oak tree, and under a moonlight, we perceived this idea of giving concrete shape to an institution named after Vivekananda. And today it stands. It stands out. There must be 100 plus affiliated institutes of the IP University. There's another hundreds of colleges of Delhi University, Jamia, so on and so forth. But today Vivekananda Institute has established its credentials as an institution with certain scruples. We simply don't want to have another place where teaching is imparted, lessons are handed down. But here life's lessons are given and should be imparted. Let's simply not adhere to the syllabus, prescribed whatever is prescribed in the syllabus. Let's go beyond the syllabus. Let's dispense those fundamental values that will go into shaping a man or making a man or a woman with a strength of character who can contribute to nation building. And there when I went to Mayavati, the ashram, Advaita ashram, no idol is kept there. They are senior monks of the Ramakrishna order, and there's an editorial office of Prabuddha Bharat, a quarterly magazine published by Swami Vivekananda himself. And all publications of Ramakrishna Mission are edited there. It's a very serene place, thoroughly spiritually charged. and that inspires you to do things higher in life, to achieve greater goals, to set higher objectives in life. So today being his 160th birthday, let each one of us take a resolve that we should simply not talk of Vivekananda. Let's become worthy of naming him as Vivekananda, as our own, as our very own mentor, as our own spiritual leader. And he was a very practical Vedantist who simply did japam or repetition of the holy name. He went beyond that. He reached out to the people on the streets without their clothing. Our NSS keeps doing some charity, some job, something or the other. But these are all photo sessions. They are not sincerely, their heart doesn't really, it's not with them. They say this is another activity in the series of activities that we are carrying out, and there's another activity, it's another ritual that we are doing. Our heart doesn't bleed for the poor, for the have-nots, for the people without a blanket or a quilt, or even bare minimum clothes to protect them against this punishing winter. Do we really care for that? Photo sessions are being held, pictures are being carried out, documentation, magazines, so on and so forth. And they're delighted if they show it to me, we've done this, and I say, I'm not happy. Because Swamiji said, so long as you don't care for the have-nots. So on his birthday, even today, the whole Ramakrishna order is busy doing Narayana Seva. Seeing each and every being an embodiment of God. And as an embodiment of God, virtual God, they are the virtual God and goddesses. Whole Ramakrishna order, across the country and across the globe, they're reaching out to people who don't have proper clothes, people who can't afford proper treatment, health care. And that's termed as Narayana Seva. Narayana Seva. Am Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. I am out that. Yastu sarvani bhutani, atmani anapashyati, sarvbhute cha atmanam tatona visgupsate, yasmin sarvani bhutani atmano bhutvijanata, tatra ko moha ko shoka ekattam anapashyate. Yastu sarvani bhutani, atmani anapashyati, sarvbhute cha atmanam tatona visgupsate, yasmin sarvani bhutani atmano bhutvijanata, tatra ko moha ko shoka ekattam anapashyate. He goes beyond the peers opposite. He never recognizes sorrow or happiness, joy. He is beyond joy, beyond sadness. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani anapashyati. The man who sees him, H capital, in every single individual, in every single living, and it goes beyond that, even the non-living, he sees in him, in that object, living and non-living object, the one who sees him, H capital, and who recognizes that everywhere it is he who resides. The dynamics of time, if you have read a book of Dynamics of Time, what were mountains was on a wire. They become deserts now. The mountains have been turned into deserts. And now what you're seeing, the sea levels are coming up, and some of your coastal cities may get submerged in water. And then new landscapes will be formed. Somewhere there'll be mountains, and somewhere there'll be some other landscape, because that's time, It's time. So dynamics of time are contours that nature leaves behind. And that's why we say, when everything fails, if human being fails to check corruption, the cosmic will shall prevail. The cosmic will. The ultimate will shall prevail. So let's all try to manifest the divinity within and become creative human beings. When I see children here, I see there's something wrong with the parenting of these children. I formed a disciplinary committee, but it comes from self-discipline. The discipline is a discipline that comes from within. Of course, parents are largely responsible for whatever their children do here. Maybe I'm old-timed out. Maybe I'm not fit for these times. But I certainly see that there is a degeneration of human values. There's a decline in human character. And if this be the rate of decline, what would be India's future? Catastrophes come because divine will, finally the cosmic will prevail. Teacher teaches you with sympathy. Nature teaches you with vengeance. So let that vengeance not be let loose. And 1 month down the line, I may not be with you. In the sense, I have some other plans for me. 22 years, 23 years, good enough a time to invest in anything that you do. I've never said this institute belongs to me. I never had a sense of ownership because I'm somebody else. I'm not to be here, and I should not be here any longer. Because whatever was my purpose, I've done that. Beyond that shall be attachment. Attachment leads to pain, agony, and suffering. I do not want to undergo that misery, that suffering. I know that I'm indulging in some kind of avoidance, but I feel I'll be more at peace with him and more in his company than the company of not so scrupulous people. So I wish you all the very best on the 160th birthday of Swami Vivekananda, who truly was a prophet and a pathfinder. And certainly he continues to rule my thinking. He walks with me, he talks to me. And it's he who speaks through me many times. We talk to each other. We have a very intimate connection. 30 years of my medical practice, and then becoming a legislator for 15 years. Then here at the Vivekananda Institute. So it's a journey that, and this journey is to continue and to culminate finally into his realm. Because each one has to take his refuse. God bless you all and wish you all the very best, because I wish you to be repositories of strength and not of weakness. God bless you. May Swamiji bless you. Thank you so much.